How's it going, everybody? It's Space Cowboy 17 here. Welcome back. In this one, we will be discussing the 5 wide receivers the Cowboys should look at targeting in free agency. As a disclaimer, I must put out there that I am not saying the Cowboys go after a specific person. I'm just throwing names out there to get fresh in your mind so that we can have a discussion in regards to receivers the Cowboys should be thinking about going after and my recommendations. So, without further ado, let's begin. To start things off, we're going to be starting off with, I guess, my personal favorite if you're thinking about this class in terms of getting a talented receiver, and I'm talking about Sammy Watkins, wide receiver, LA Rams. Now, I will say that this guy has talent, and considering the fact that he did have a 1,000-yard receiving season under Sanjay Lal, I wouldn't mind him coming to Dallas, but also it depends on the price tag. So let's look at his stats for this season and see what kind of money he's looking at getting. Based off of his 2017 stats, they look something like this. He started in 14 games, he played in 15. He was targeted 70 times and caught 39 receptions for 593 yards and 8 touchdowns. That calculated to about a $5.9 million per year market value. So the optimal contract to give him is about a $17 million 3-year deal. Now, what's special about Sammy Watkins is that he creates separation and runs routes. That is something that Dak Prescott needs. If you haven't, please make sure to go click on that card to check my Dak Prescott video out to ensure that you understand what kind of receivers we're looking for. Now, Sammy Watkins, again, capable of creating separation. He's not the fastest guy on the field, but what's key is creating separation. And I think that this guy can definitely pair up on the other side with Dez if you decide to keep him, or if you let Dez go, he can be a solid receiver. Not saying a number 1, but I can tell you that he has that potential, especially with Dak's play style. Now, I will say that it's a bit of a pricier deal considering his history of some injuries and other stuff, but hey, if he's willing to take that kind of a deal to come to Dallas on a bit of a more cheaper option, I would definitely enjoy that. Now, moving on, a cheaper option that has worked with Sanjay Lal is Donte Moncrief, wide receiver, Indianapolis Colts. Now, as for Donte Moncrief, he is a speed receiver, that is for sure. He does have great catching ability as well as the ability to create separation. Now, his 2017 stat line looked like this. He started in 8 games, he played in 12. He was targeted 47 times, caught 46 of those passes, 391 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So clearly he is a definitely effective receiver if given time. Yes, I understand his stats looked a bit lower based off the fact that Andrew Luck did not play this season. Now, what's his market value looking at? Based off of his production in previous years, and especially this season, he's looking at about a $1.5 million market value per year. I don't know an actual optimal contract to give this guy, so please excuse me on that. But other than that, I think Donte Moncrief is a more cheaper option if you're considering going after someone that has somewhat of a history with your wide receiver coach. Now, moving on, we have John Brown, wide receiver, Arizona Cardinals. Now, what's interesting about John Brown is the fact that he has had a 1,000-yard season in 2015. So he is capable of that kind of production. What did his stat line look like this year? Well, here it is. He started in 5 games, he played in 10. He had 55 targets for 21 receptions, 299 yards, and 3 touchdowns. So roughly he's getting about a touchdown for every 100 yards based off of that calculation if you do more inclusive math. But I will tell you that John Brown would be a pretty optimal option for Dak Prescott, especially the fact that he could take the top off of defenses because of his speed. His route running ability is grade A, his ability to catch the ball as well. I mean, I feel that John Brown would be a solid replacement for Bryce Butler if you're thinking on going that route. Based off of that, it looks like you're going to have to pay him about $1.5 million a year, so that's pretty cheap considering his production that he's had, and I would love for him to come to Dallas especially. Moving on, we have Taylor Gabriel, wide receiver, Atlanta Falcons. Now, Taylor Gabriel is another interesting speed receiver to go after. He is a bit on the older side, obviously, but if you're looking to replace Bryce Butler or add a speed receiver, going after him or some of the others that I mentioned would be optimal. Taylor Gabriel, his stat line looked like this. In 2017, he started and played in all 16 games. He was targeted 51 times for 33 receptions, 378 yards, and a single touchdown. So based off of that, his market value is looking to drop to about $1.25 million a year to get paid. So if you're looking on the cheap end to get some solid speed receivers, Taylor Gabriel is one of them. You know, he can create separation, his speed, and that's what's key. Speed does kill, so that's something we're looking at, and that is a common denominator with pretty much all of these receivers that I'm mentioning. They have speed, and that speed helps them create separation. So moving on, the final one's more of a interesting one. That is Jarvis Landry, wide receiver, Miami Dolphins. Now please keep in mind that the odds of this happening are pretty much insurmountable, and don't expect this to happen and occur. Now, for this to happen, Dez would have to be cut, but I can tell you this. Jarvis Landry is definitely the best wide receiver of the class, and I wouldn't mind if the Cowboys thought about a plan to acquire him, but based off of his market value, I'm not sure if you go after him. What does his market value look like? Well, here it is. It's $13.8 million, and you might be saying, well, that's crazy. Well, based off of his production, it is pretty fair. In 2017, he started and played in all 16 games. He had 161 targets for 112 receptions, 987 yards, and 9 touchdowns. So roughly, he has been consistent. Yes, and while I do think it still is an outlandish idea to go out and get this guy, I do think it's nice to think and look at the options the Cowboys have available to them. So, if you made it to the end of this video, you are a true MVP, and make sure to like, make sure to subscribe for more content. Please make sure to check out the other commentary videos and content I am putting out, so you're up to date on everything that I've been putting out. And with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed, and peace.